Imagine having a migraine every single day for 3 months straight. Now imagine having that happen twice. That's my story. I had a migraine headache every day in and day out, for 3 months. And then about 10 years later, I had the exact same experience. And in between that time, I still suffered from migraines. I had gone to numerous doctors, tried to get answers, and they helped some. But I kept getting migraines. So I decided to take things into my own hands and figure out how to prevent and better manage my migraines. I developed a 4-pillar strategy that helped me manage my migraines and take back control of my life. And I'm going to share it with you today. Before we dive in, I just want to introduce myself. My name is Renee. I'm a public health professional, health educator, and writer. I am sharing my story about migraine because I know that there are a lot of people suffering who need this information. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back, and thanks for being here. Consider liking, subscribing, and definitely share my content with someone who needs it. Before we jump in, I just want to give a quick medical disclaimer. I am not a medical doctor. I am a person who is sharing their story about migraines and what I did to prevent them. Before you begin any new health regimen, you should consult with your doctor. All right, let's jump in. The first pillar in the 4-pillar strategy is break the rebound cycle. So the first thing that you want to do is, if you are suffering from migraines, chronic migraines every single day or almost every day, you want to first understand whether or not you're dealing with rebound headaches from taking too much pain medication. So even though I talked about this at length in my previous video about Rebound, I will share it up here, I think, or on the other side, depending on which side fits when I'm editing. I'm kind of right in the middle. If you want to know more about that, you can definitely watch the other video. I shared how the biggest contributor to my migraines was actually taking medication. And the more I took medication, the more I kept getting migraines. Rebound is usually caused because you have overused pain medication. And so the more you have a migraine, obviously the more you want to control it, so you take pain medication. And unfortunately, if you're doing that every day or almost every day, it actually causes more migraines. And that's what happened with me. So once I found out I had rebound migraines, I just decided I couldn't do it anymore. So I quit all of the medications, period. I stopped taking them. I stopped taking over-the-counter medications. I stopped taking triptans. I stopped taking everything. The other thing that I did, because my neurologist said, the caffeine is making it worse, I stopped drinking coffee. I would drink coffee every single day, and I gave it up. Before you attempt to break the rebound cycle, if that is you, please watch the video on Rebound. And again, I will link that below because there are some things that you want to consider before doing that. And you also want to talk to your doctor before doing it so that you are receiving medical guidance. Now, I just want to say, I am so happy that I can have caffeine. I drink caffeine every day, either an espresso, my preferred drink, or a matcha. Hallelujah. But that's the first pillar. The first pillar is to break the rebound cycle. I think I covered everything that is in pillar 1. Now, pillar 2. Before you can go to pillar 2, you actually do have to go to pillar 1 and address that, because pillar 2 is about stabilization. So you want to add in supportive stabilization habits to your life. I like to think of the second pillar as creating a consistent, low stress, low inflammatory lifestyle for yourself. Migraines are not caused by one thing. It's not caused by just one single thing you eat or one single thing in your environment or one single thing in your lifestyle. It's caused by a bunch of different triggers. Those triggers are different for everyone. When I think about adding stabilization supports or habits to your life, you're giving your brain an opportunity to calm down, giving your nervous system an opportunity to calm down. So, here are some of the things that you could do in order to create that lifestyle for yourself. Make sure that you are hydrated. Some headaches are caused by dehydration, so drinking water is super important to people who suffer from migraines. The next thing that you want to do as part of creating supportive stabilization habits is getting enough rest, sleeping. I know this is a hard one because I feel like a lot of people who suffer from migraines are dealing with chronic stress, which is also affecting their sleep. But it is really important to try to get rest and to keep the amount of sleep that you get consistent, the time of day that you sleep consistent, because all of those things create this sort of consistent lifestyle. None of this has to be perfect though, right? It's just sort of making those attempts to get there. One thing that has helped me to get more consistent sleep, and I swear by these: grounding sheets. I mean, if you've never heard of them, I highly recommend that you try grounding sheets. I'll link to the two. I bought two different ones. They both work the same. I just want to make sure that I have one available when I throw the other one in the washer. Now, you only get the fitted sheet. I'm going to keep it a buck. They're not cheap. But when I lay down at night, I go to sleep. And I have never been a good sleeper. The last thing around creating supportive stabilization or calming habits in your life is trying to reduce your overall sensory load. So, are you in an environment that is super bright or loud or strong scents? All of those things can contribute to migraines. Are you on your phone or on your computer for hours a day without taking a break or without wearing blue light blocking glasses? Just taking some baby steps in order to reduce your overall sensory load can actually really help. Before we jump into pillar number 3, I just wanted to say that I have a Migraine REST workbook that I created for you to follow along with the series. You don't have to follow along in chronological order, but it gives you an opportunity to begin documenting some things about your migraine, what you're seeing, patterns that may be occurring, triggers that you think might be causing your migraines, tracking your sleep, stress, all types of things that will help you be able to better identify and also manage your migraines. So again, that is free. I will link to that in the description. I mentioned the series, but I didn't call the name of it at the beginning. So R stands for recognize. Recognize your symptoms, patterns, warning signs, possible triggers. E stands for evaluate. Evaluate your sleep. Are you sleeping consistently at the same time or the same amount? Are you able to even get any sleep? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you drinking enough water? Are your migraines occurring around a certain time of the month? And could they be related to your hormones? And are there any environmental factors that could be causing your migraines? S stands for slow down. One of the things that people who get migraines don't do enough of is stop, slow down, rest, take care of themselves. Pushing through is actually going to exacerbate migraines. And I understand we all have a bunch of commitments, we all have expectations from others, of ourselves, but it is super important that you take time to rest. And then the last one, which is my favorite, is track. You want to track your triggers. You want to track patterns that you may have been seeing. Like, if I get 5 hours or less of sleep, I wake up with a migraine. That is a pattern that you want to keep note of. Or, wow, I was at work all day today and I did not drink a lick of water. I came home from work and I have a migraine. Is it because I'm dehydrated? Or is it because it was a stressful environment? Or is it because the lighting in my office is too bright? You want to begin to identify what could be causing it. And the only way to do that is to track it. All right, so that is the REST framework. Now, once I began to create a more stable and supportive lifestyle, I moved into the next stage of my 4-pillar strategy, and it's called preventative treatments. So it is easy to take migraine medication as a way of treating your migraine. I also know that for me, I like to prevent things before they start. So I'm like, there has to be a way to prevent migraines. And that's how this whole lifestyle change came about for me, was just me doing my own research and talking to doctors and doing research and talking to doctors. But I just was like, I can't live like this where I'm constantly on medication and it's still not being controlled. So something has got to change. So after I started to really think about and track and identify what was causing my migraines, I added in preventative treatments. I feel like I'm sharing all of these for the first time. I think I shared a couple, but anyway, so I started to add in preventative treatments. The first thing I added was magnesium glycinate, actually. I took 1 tablet a day, every day, for 2 years. Now, when I started taking these, it was during the second 90-day migraine that I had. I also took them with vitamin B2, which is also known as riboflavin. I took 400 milligrams of vitamin B2, and then the last thing I took was feverfew, which is an herb. I took a total of 6 pills a day. B2 that I got was 100 milligrams, and I took 4, so I needed 400 milligrams. I took 1 magnesium glycinate, I think that's 350 milligrams, and then I took the feverfew. I think the feverfew was 350 as well, but either way, it was 1 feverfew. So I took 6 preventative treatments every single day for 2 years, and then I began to taper off them. But I keep one thing in my house and have done so ever since that time, and now that's been over 10 years. I think it's closer to 15 years now. Magnesium. If I feel any sort of head pain coming on, I just get ahead of it and I'll take a magnesium. And it usually doesn't even materialize into a full-blown headache or migraine. So there you have it. Those are the things that I took to prevent my migraines, and you might be able to benefit from those too. But again, before you begin any new regimen, consult with a doctor and always do your own research. So let's go into pillar number 4. All right, pillar number 4. I feel like we have talked about this, but listen, we have to repeat it because people need to understand the way your life changes when you do this. The 4th pillar is actually tracking. You need to be tracking what is happening prior to you having a migraine, because that gives you the information that you need in order to say, oh, maybe I should avoid this thing. So for example, I have a sensitivity to cashews. Yeah. And there is some literature that supports why that might be. I'm going to put it on the screen here for you to read. But every time I eat cashews, I start getting a migraine. Now, I was not always a person who experienced sensitivity with cashews. But now I am. And you're going to notice that too. Like over time, your migraines are going to change. Things that you weren't able to have, you might be able to have. And things that you used to be able to have, you might go through a period where you can't have them, even if that's for a time. Sometimes the triggers that need to be tracked are things that are not within your control, and sometimes there are things that are within your control. But at least you know what could be causing it. So many benefits to tracking. I just wanted to say before we wrap up that I created a migraine tracking journal, which is super cute, and you can find it on Amazon. I will link to it below. Essentially, you're able to track your symptoms, so you can track your pain level, you can track your stress level, you can identify where the pain in your head is actually happening, your face, your eyes, your neck. You can track whether or not you have additional symptoms. There's a place in here for your food, your drinks, the exercise that you've gotten, what's the weather outside, any natural treatments that you've taken, counter or prescription medications that you've taken, anything that you think might be a suspected trigger. If you treat it yourself, what was your treatment plan, etc. There's also a place in the front for you to put your name. I don't want to give too much away because, people will be on here stealing. But again, you can get a copy of the Migraine Guide Tracking Journal. Track, identify, and eliminate migraine triggers on Amazon, and it'll be linked below. All right, so I think that's it for this video. I appreciate you all for watching. I appreciate you all for sharing it, for liking it, for commenting. If there is any information you want to see or you want me to talk about in particular, especially as it relates to migraines, I'm super happy to do that. I have more videos in this series, and then we'll move on to some more personal development, more mindset content. But for now, we're going to share the migraine information because it really needs to be out there. All right. So I'm recording this video and it's a Sunday. Happy Sunday, everyone. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Awesome. We'll talk soon. Oh, did I forget anything? Wait. I wanted to say before I close, I created a little tagline for this series. Lifestyle adjustments create stability. Tracking brings clarity. And prevention is possible. Yes, it is. I am a living witness. All right. Be encouraged. We'll talk soon.